Hey guys, Diju22 here, and as far as what happened in the last match, I'm just going to say that it ended when Mark Henry pinned Mantar, but for some reason the game didn't recognize that, and it kind of ended in a draw, but it really wasn't a draw. It was just kind of weird how it ended, but in reality, Mark Henry did win, and as a result, he gets 3 points, and that'll move him ever so closer to Fatal 4-Way. But this will be the final match of the Bound for Glory series, and when this match is all said and done, we'll add up the scores, and we'll find out who the top two finishers are. If there's a tie for second, or like say for example, if three guys are tied for the outright lead, then obviously we have to have a drawing. But if, say for example, three guys were tied for second place, then we would have a playoff in which the winner would advance to the Fatal 4-Way match that we're going to have at the Fatal 4-Way Super Show. But first things first, let's take care of this little business. Let me adjust the camera here. So, our last match is going to be Ezekiel Jackson and Randy Orton. And Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, has 2 strikes. So, of course, if he loses, he strikes out. But he doesn't have enough points to advance. I'm just going to say that. As for Randy Orton, he has an outside chance, but let's begin. And we're off between what the hell am I thinking? Between Randy Orton and Ezekiel Jackson. And a couple of back elbows to Randy Orton. Ooh, what a knee smash. That was a modified knee smash. But by just taking his head and just dropping it with his knee. I mean, that little maneuver that Jackson did with Orton's head, he calls that the coconut crush. So I guess that's what we're going to call it from here on out, the coconut crush. And although both men weigh the same, or not weigh, although both men measure up the same height, Jackson weighs more or less 50 to 60 pounds heavier than Randy Orton, so he's got that advantage, but not by that much though. An elbow right to the head of Orton, and a punch right to the head of Orton. So yeah, if Ezekiel Jackson loses, then of course he strikes out. A whip into the a whip into the ropes, but a counter from Randy Orton. An arm smash onto Ezekiel Jackson. Backbreaker onto Randy Orton. And a backside slam on a Jackson. And a neck breaker on a Jackson. And a full Nelson on a Ezekiel Jackson, but you're not going to really beat Ezekiel Jackson on a full Nelson. I apologize for the camera, but I'm just adjusting here. And a kick to the leg of Ezekiel Jackson. But a couple of back elbows to Orton. Whipped into the corner goes Orton. And a shoulder tackle to Orton. And an STO right to Jackson. I mean, this match could go either way. Orton's the man. Orton is at the top of his game, and Ezekiel Jackson is big and strong enough to take on Orton, but I would have to think that, but even so, Orton has more experience than Jackson, because Jackson wasn't always a wrestler, and I'm talking about Ezekiel Jackson. So yeah, Jackson hasn't been a wrestler as much as Orton has. Okay, let me try this again. Ezekiel Jackson hasn't been, you know, in the wrestling business as long as Randy has, being that Randy was born into the business primarily because of his father, Cowboy Bob Orton. But a headbutt to the back of the head of Randy Orton. And a dropkick on to Jackson. And a float over DDT to Jackson. Oh, wait a minute. A bear hug on to Randy Orton. Oh, but countered into a DDT by Randy Orton. And some back elbows to Orton. And a drop kick to Jackson again. So far, not one man has had the advantage for more than a minute. And a clothesline on to Randy Orton. Elbow to the back of the head of Orton. And a backside slam on to Ezekiel Jackson. And a pinfall cover. Oh, but a rope break. Too close to the ropes was Jackson, so now Randy Orton's going to have to work on Jackson some more. And whipped into the corner goes Orton. And some back elbows to Jackson. And whipped into the corner once again is Orton. Oh, and Orton just got smashed outside the ring. And Orton's going to have to collect his thoughts for a little bit. And he'll have to think of another way to beat this guy, but a whip into the corner goes Ezekiel Jackson. An arm wrench on Orton. But a punch right to the back of the neck of Orton. Just back and forth between these two. Oh, and a clothesline that drops Ezekiel Jackson. And right now Orton has the advantage. And an arm smash onto Jackson. And a kick to the leg of Jackson. And another neck breaker. And what's Randy doing? RKO! RKO onto Ezekiel Jackson, and that's got to do it, folks. 1, 2, no! Kick out by Ezekiel Jackson. I'll tell you one thing. Not very many men can kick out of the RKO, but I guess he could. And whipped into the corner was Ezekiel Jackson, and is that an angle slam? We haven't seen that move since Kurt Angle, but 1, 2, 3. I suppose the angle slam was the finishing blow, I suppose, but Randy Orton wins the match. Ezekiel Jackson's out of the tournament, but it's of no consequence because, well, the tournament is over, and we'll add up all the points, and we'll find out who is going to be going to Fatal 4-Way. So Randy Orton is the winner, so congratulations to him. And Undertaker? Well, I guess Undertaker's a good sport. And of course he does respect Randy Orton for all he's accomplished. So a class act by The Undertaker, but folks, we're going to add up the points, and if there's any tiebreakers that need to be done, we will do it relatively quickly, so stay tuned if any. Otherwise, this is going to do it. Alright, peace.